Origin of Species was published on November 24th, 1859, by Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin created two main ideas. His first idea was that descent with modification explains life's unity and diversity. Darwin's second idea was that the natural selection is a cause of adaptive evolution. In The Origin of Species, Darwin explains that descent with modification by natural selection explains three broad observations about nature, which are unity of life, the diversity of life, and the match between organisms and their environment. From knowing that descent with modification summarizes Darwin's perception of the unity of life, we can now understand that all organisms are related through descent from an ancestor that lived in the far past. Darwin also thought that as descendants of an ancestral organism lived in various habitats over millions of years, they accumulated diverse adaptations that over the time fit them to specific ways of life necessary for them to live. Darwin explains that from descent with modification we were able to achieve our rich diversity of life as we see today. Darwin viewed the history of life to be like a tree with branches, which represents life's diversity. In Darwin's 1837 sketch, he envisioned the branching pattern of evolution. The tips of the twigs represents the diversity of organisms living in the present. Each fork of the tree represents the most recent common ancestor of all the lines of evolution that subsequently branch from that point. Also, Darwin's theory suited well with the hierarchy of Linnaeus. In his effort at classification, Linnaeus had realized that some organisms resemble each other more closely than others, but he had not linked these resemblances to evolution. Because he had recognized that the great diversity of organisms could be organized into groups, subordinate to groups, Linnaeus' system meshed well with Darwin's hypothesis. To Darwin, the Linnaean hierarchy reflected the branching history of life, with organisms at the various levels related through descent from common ancestors. I hope from this quick overview of the origin of species and descent of modification, you got an overall understanding of Charles Darwin's works and the relationship between evolution and descent of modification, and how it led to our rich diversity in life.